And welcome back to the Off the Clock Show. You're joined with your hosts, Shawn Gervais from OrbisX and Marty, Mr. Marshall Hill from the Pints and Polishing Podcast, as well as hyperClean car care products. I got my t-shirt. That's what thanks, man. Yeah, thanks for sending it. Appreciate it.
Comfy,
and
isn't
the
it?
fit, size is nice, fit is good. I can exercise, do push-ups, and ceramic coat.
Well, there's no reason to have a shirt if it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And
It's just-
I will say, it's warm enough because today was a little chilly outside. Warm enough. I wore it all day today. And then, but at the same time, it breathes. Like it breathes. I don't know. You chose good materials. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
my point.
I have a print shop, so we deal with a lot of shirts, so yeah.
And you get people that buy those cheap shirts that feel like cardboard, and it's like,
yeah.
Ever wants to wear those? Like, who
Yeah,
wants
it's
to
made
wear
from
that
recycled pizza boxes or
Yeah.
something.
No way.
Yeah, I know. And and the cost difference is minimal. It really is. Like because the
Couple
actual
bucks.
shirts themselves are cheap. It's the the print on top. Like if you want location, all over the place. Some people want the tag printed and all kinds of shit. That's where it gets pricey. But yeah, no, you chose good. Yeah, even the stitching, everything. I was impressed, man. Yeah, and it came in part 2 of 3 of my packages that I ordered from you. Just waiting for the last one to clear customs there because the Canadian government feels that ceramic coatings are hazardous goods. Apparently,
A lot of serious shit going on in there.
yeah, some serious shit. Yeah, it's you know what? It's probably my competition called it in. I don't know, man. This guy has all these reviews and everyone says it's da bomb. But yeah, on that note, we now have 1,090 plus 5-star reviews, which in the detailing world is a freaking milestone and a half, because most guys they're sitting at 100, something like that, which is great. That's commendable as well. But I can tell you the work it took to get to over 1,000. That's for sure. But so we're on our way to the next 1,000. That's our goal. Yeah, and I told my team if they don't hit it, then the casual Fridays and the lunches on Fridays are done for a while. Gotta light that fire, man. But absolutely. And we're gonna have a internal competition, which sorry, I'm jumping into, you know what? I'll save it. Save my internal competition for the tip section. If I just start dropping tips right from the beginning, what kind of first date would this be? So how was your weekend? We'll start there. How was
date? So, we're a little used to it by now.
Yeah, that's true. It makes me feel little less predatorish. But yeah, so how was your weekend, man?
Yeah. Oh, is that your roll into it? Let me be less predatorish. Hey, how was your weekend?
How was your weekend? Yeah, let's get to know each other. It's like that joke. What is it? No,
care for a drink?
Yeah, the one, how much does a polar bear weigh? You know that one? Enough to break the ice. Hi, I'm Shawn.
Hey.
That one works 0% of the time.
Did you ever use those? I mean, remember we talked about that stuff when we had those
lines,
those podcasts with Greg?
Yeah. I do remember that.
All that stuff.
We related everything to dating and stuff. Yeah. So for sure.
You really think Greg was out there macking on the ladies?
It's funny. Part of me thinks no, but then there's a big part of me because he reminds me of this guy that I went to high school with. And that guy, he was kind of at first everyone thought he was like dorky and stuff like that, grade 9. And then grade 10, this guy, I don't know what happened. He must have went away for the summer camp with his older brother or some shit. He came back like Mac Daddy. Man, this guy had 8 girls in rotation at any given moment. He had girls giving him rides and all this kind of stuff. Man, it was crazy. And but yeah, he I don't know. I could see it going both ways, but because a lot of people know Greg now, but which is funny. I haven't actually seen much from him. I don't know. It's
me neither. He's
been kind of quieted down.
2023 has been much more quieter for him.
Yeah. I think so too. I noticed that, and I don't know. Yeah, it's because it used to be there was always, especially in the groups, there was always some, Yeah.
That's fun. But weekend, man, we had a good weekend. Took a little road trip. Nice. Honestly, one of my favorite things I've learned is to find long stretches of straight roads. Press the little buttons on the car that let it drive for you.
Yeah.
It reads the sides and reads the cars in front of you. And pretty much, man, I literally for 30 plus minutes was just staring at clouds and taking little siestas and man, it was awesome to drive back. But on the way down there, man, we stopped in, I'm telling you, it was like a time warp type place. old, small, like cool little place that you just want to stop into, middle of nowhere type restaurant, right?
Yeah.
And had Southern style catfish.
Okay. Nice.
I do. Is that? I mean, are you familiar with Southern style catfish?
So
What do
Southern
you guys
style,
do? Yeah, do you guys
not
do
as much.
catfish? What's catfish in Canada like?
Yeah, so we do catfish, and in most places they'll call it catfish, but where I grew up, we called it barbottes, and I don't know why. Some backwoods French term, I don't know. So my mother's first language was French.
One more time.
Barbottes.
I
Barbot.
thought that's what I heard you say, but I just
Yeah. Barbot, and I don't know why barbot, but it's a French word. And to be honest, I think they just made it up because, like, no joke, like the village that we came from, and I say village because it's legit a village. I think now there's population 1,200. Before there was less. It was yeah, and so true story. But the village that I came from, the whole name is La Passe des Outards, which is French for the way of the geese. Nobody in the village could spell des Outards, so they just dropped it from the name, and it became La Passe. That was it, the path. And so to this day, it's still La Passe, and but the technical name for the city is actually La Passe des Outards. But there we used to go fishing right on the Ottawa River. Beautiful lake. Not lake, but river. And they even have class 5 rapids. I don't know if you know much about the classes of rapids, but it only goes up to 6, baby. So class 5 is serious. And they have a big dam there as well.
Oklahoma, we don't have many rapids here.
This is true. Yeah.
They did put in one of those things in Oklahoma City that like is one of those like rapid like things, like you go rent a boat and you sit in this rapid for like period of time, and it's like to fake like you're being in the like
okay. It's like, it's not the same. Yeah. Like this one, this one's serious. Like you got to wear helmets and all kind of stuff. And we used to see sometimes you collect paddles at the end of it, and we used to always joke about it and say like, oh, the tourists have been in town. We just random paddle floating. We're like, oh yeah, that guy flipped for sure. But yeah, so we used to catch a lot of catfish, but we called them barbottes, and so we cooked them all different types of way. But the most common way we did was just some light seasoning, some butter, and man, delicious. But so I imagine
like
some way
pans
in a pan,
oil in a pan, and just season.
Exactly,
sort of like a blacken.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Like a blackened
or
pan seared fish.
Is that kind of what we're working with the Southern style, or no? Okay. Well, you got to tell me more.
Style catfish is cornmeal. So they'll roll it in cornmeal, then they'll deep fry it in oil.
Damn.
Yeah. And then that cornmeal gives you a crunch.
So yeah. But then like the inside nice soft, buttery.
Then the inside is that soft white,
Shit,
nice.
Yeah. What kind of sauces? They have a variety, like a
I'm not really, I mean, horseradish if people want, but I'm just not a I'm not a
sauce guy.
Not a sauce kind of guy.
Okay. Yeah.
I
I always like a little something to dip it in, but
that's the only time I'll do is like au jus sauce. But if it's barbecue, you better not. And I make the barbecue. People that put barbecue sauce on my barbecue, I give them shit for it.
Yeah.
Like it's the same as like if you go eat sushi, you're technically not supposed to have soy sauce. Like if you eat steak, you really shouldn't put A1 fucking steak sauce on a steak. Like, don't do it.
It's true. Oh, you know what? Our first shop manager, he used to put ketchup on his steaks. Okay. I'm talking like he went to a fancy restaurant, ketchup. Like this.
Random ketchup I can't get enough of is the wife likes ketchup with her pizza.
Pizza? That's a new one.
What I did too. And I went, there's no way in hell.
Yeah.
But then as she's been doing it, I've suddenly started like, okay, I'll, and I'm like,
and you're like, this isn't too bad.
It's not too bad. It's really random, right? Like random.
Yeah, that's
try it. Next time you get pizza, just dip a little bite into ketchup and then go on to the OrbisX group and everybody let's talk about whether or not they've been able to do ketchup with their pizza, because it's an interesting, it just changes it. It changes the dynamic.
Yeah. Ketchup. I'm going to have to check that one. I don't know. On pizza, I don't know. but I guess I don't know. I mean, the sauce, like it's kind of ketchup based already.
It's
So
tomato.
yeah,
And ketchup is tomato, so you would naturally go, well, it makes sense. But it's that twang. It's such
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that twang of ketchup is so different. Just
That's where I
try it.
don't think I could.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try
try
it, but just
try it.
regular ketchup, or because I know they have
Try it
all those like
once. Just try it
mixes
once
ones
there,
now.
there, buddy. Just give it a little nudge. Just one little, just
Just
one little bite. Just one little nibble. You know,
oh Jesus!
one won't hurt you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one might just tap it in. Just tap, tap, tap.
Hey, movie quote. Movie quote. Just tap it. Tap it.
Yeah, it's a. Oh, hold on, my microphone just switched.
Happy
Changed.
Gilmore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh man, great movies, man. Just watched it with the little one too. She'd never seen it, and because it's amazing, you know, it's one of those things where when you're younger, you watch it. There's not too much in it that's like, you know, crazy or racy or anything like that. You don't think, but then as an adult parent, you know.
Shawn, I was kind of
realized-
an adult when that came out, so there was plenty for me to laugh at when it came out.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
but when you have
maybe
kids,
not.
I mean, like when you have kids, you watch it and you're like, oh shit, maybe not. Not
Oh,
for the
that's
age
what you
group.
mean. Oh, I
Yeah,
thought you
yeah,
meant
yeah,
when you
that's what I
watched
mean.
it when you were younger. Oh,
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm not that young. I mean, I look that young. It's the shirt. It's the shirt.
hey,
It's
what
the
were you? Yes, a shirt. Did you post something? Were you recently out throwing axes or something? What was
Mhm.
that?
Yeah, we went
Was
axe
your
throwing.
buddy like first axe throw straight into the bullseye?
Jesus Lord, this fucking guy, man. So he's ex-military. It's important
Okay.
because that's
No,
why he was kicking
yeah.
my ass, you know.
Mm,
But yeah, so he
Excuses, Shawn. Excuses.
it's true. And I actually normally am pretty good at that. And I'm the one that suggested we do it because I'm pretty good at it. And then for whatever reason, my game was just so off that day. And he was like, sure, you're good at it. 'Cause it was our first time playing, me and him, you know. But yeah, so there's this thing called a clutch. And so there's the circles, and you have to, you know, depending where it goes, you get certain points and stuff like that when you throw the axe, but it has to be the majority of the axes in that part. So there's a thing called a clutch where on your last throw, if you're down a couple points or something, you might say, I'm going to go for clutch. And then you call it. There's two little green circles at the top, tiny, tiny green circles. And you have to choose one. And you say, I'm going top right. And then if you hit it, you get 7 points. But if you split it in half, you get like double the points or something. And anyway, this guy calls it. And I'm like, yo, okay. He was not even down. He was winning. And he was like, I'm my last shot. I'm going to go for clutch. I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, buddy. So throws it, boom, splits it in half. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. But anyway, so he crushed it. Way to go, Spencer. But I was like, okay, lucky shot, once in a lifetime, whatever. Anyway, we play a couple more games. Sure enough, he goes again. He says, clutch. Fucking throws it the exact same spot, splits it in half. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Now he was reconnaissance in the military, so he's played with knives a little bit, you know what I mean? So I kind of, you know, he's grown up around guns and all kinds of stuff. So that's the only reason why. It's not because my skill was yeah, sure, the excuses, I know. But yeah, so yeah, we went axe throwing. It was a lot of fun. It's called Battle Axes, BATL. It's pretty dope. They have a couple locations, and yeah, you just pay per hour and you go and you just throw some axes. Now, those were small little ones, but they do have the big, you know, those ones a lot harder to throw, but man, it's fun. But my wife, shockingly, is amazing with the big one. So that was Spencer telling me, he's like, you better stop it. But she was amazing. She was just knocking it down. It was crazy. And she was decent with the smaller ones too, which made me nervous, you know, so that's why I don't argue with her too much. But yeah, she was crushing it, man. And it was good. But yeah, so we had fun. That was pretty much one of the things we did this weekend. And then I did a lot of gardening. I built a greenhouse, you know, various things. So yeah.
What are you gonna grow?
Vegetables. Oh, yeah. You know, it's funny. Here we can actually legally grow 4 plants though, per residence. And we have 2 residences, so we could grow 8 if we wanted, and yet we're growing 0. It's cheaper to buy it, man. Like, it's easier too. Yeah, exactly. You know, people don't steal it, you know, it's all those things, right? But yeah, so but yeah, vegetables mostly, that's what we're gonna grow. And we did the front yard too. We had a guy come excavate and then put mulch down, mushroom compost, a bunch of stuff. So yeah.
Oh, mushroom compost, huh?
Mushroom compost, yeah, you put that mushroom compost, then topsoil, then mulch, and really helps.
Did you just go out in the middle of the night, take some snacks? Why?
Absolutely, man. And then I see things, and then I talk about them on the podcast. So yeah, no, yeah, it's because there's a church near us. They always have these I don't know, like church fairs, I guess, where they're selling local goods and stuff like that. And what they grow things there as well. And one of the things they grow to sell to raise money for the church is mushrooms. And so when they're done with them, yeah, they would make a lot more money if they grew those kind of mushrooms, that's for sure. But when they're done with it, they turn scraps and stuff into compost, and then they sell it basically. So as we pick it up, they're right around the corner, and yeah, it's not bad. You can get 5 yards for almost next to nothing. So it's really good compost, grows your vegetables nice, and you hallucinate a little bit. Jesus. But yeah, man. So yeah, fun-filled weekend. It was good. It's nice to take some downtime too, you know. I think that 'cause I myself, like you know, multiple businesses working around the clock, and I feel that a lot of people don't take enough downtime. And so for us, it's important that we, you know, take some time to recharge the batteries, come back strong, and stuff like that. But the amazing thing I found is that, you know, we talked about grinding last week, and the thought's always that, you know, the harder you work, the more you work, the more you're going to get done. So there were a couple things I was working on within OrbisX, and I always code in my head kind of thing. And I say, okay, what kind of stuff do I need to, you know, do this week? What kind of stuff am I working on? How do I finish it? And sometimes if you just keep working harder, you're going to take yourself down further down the path because you haven't actually stepped back to look at the problem as a whole. And so I was working on this new feature, and I was building out this, now that I look at it, overly complicated system. But at the time, you know, it seemed like I planned it out, and I was like, yep, this makes sense. And then I realized, you know, weekend's coming. We had some plans with the friends. We were going to do the battle axe stuff and things like that. And I said, okay, so let me just pause here on Friday, and I'll pick this back up Monday. And so over the weekend, you know, we're doing this and that. And I just ended up having a conversation with Spencer, and we were talking about, you know, different things in life. He's a realtor, and he said something, and it just triggered something in me. And I said, holy shit, I was building that overly complicated system when I actually needed to do it this way instead. And I made the change, and it took maybe an hour. So if I had kept going, I had already put in about 20 hours of work, kept going, I would have put in another 20 probably, and then finished it. It would have worked, done what it needed to do, but I was able to accomplish everything the same way in 1 hour time. And so it was just from perspective, stepping back, look at the problem and approach it differently. And so that for me, you know, it's one of those things, like I obviously build systems for efficiency and to make things better, and I've done a great job of that. But sometimes it helps to step back, just kind of look at things. And so that was not an eye opener for me, because I often do that in business. But sometimes you're in the trenches, you know, and you're like, okay, if I just go harder this path, it'll work out. And sure, it will eventually. You know, you swing enough times, you're going to hit the nail. But sometimes you take a step back and you realize you've got the
Sometimes you
wrong
get tired out.
Yeah,
Too busy in the
that's true too.
trenches, you never climb.
Yeah, that's true
Just
too.
get
You're just
tired out.
going, just
Yeah.
digging a tunnel. You know, and yeah, you're absolutely right though. And that's where, you know, I find a lot of people, they bury their head down and they just do the grind. But it's not the way to go. Absolutely. And so slowing things down, going at a different pace, using your brain, using your experience, and applying that's where you can make some real big changes happen.
Well, so
that's how my weekend went.
Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. So we were down there for a winery blessing. We went down to Texas.
Okay,
And as my
nice.
cousin started a winery. And I was talking on the way back, you know, we were just having conversation, pulled up to the stoplight, and looked over, and this car had a magnet.
Okay,
And I go,
back on
oh,
the side.
winery. It was a winery magnet.
Okay.
That's interesting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
She go, oh, that's what I want. I want a magnet, right? She wants a magnet for a car cleaning business. It just grabbed my attention. And so she assumes that then she needs a magnet for her car. So that if she's at the stoplight or driving around, if somebody sees her, they'll call her for marketing, right? That's marketing.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Made a little note. We've got a print guy that I do an episode with on Tuesdays that sure would love to talk about the need to put a
Yeah.
magnet on your car.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to hear why you might tell people to get a magnet for their car because,
I knew this was going to lead into
yeah, because this is where you and I get to have a little fun
absolutely.
back and forth. Yeah. So
So
y'all let you go ahead there, Shawn. You tell people why they should get a magnet for their car.
absolutely. And so, coming from someone that has a print shop, obviously I have a vested interest in people getting magnets on their car. However, I will preface with, if you drive like an idiot and you drive like an idiot, make sure that when you have the magnet on, you don't drive like an idiot for two reasons. One is the magnets on the side of the car are designed to go a certain speed, stuff like that, or to be on your car at a certain speed, hit a certain velocity, adios magnet, right? Number two is that magnets are great because you want to capture attention of people, but if you're driving like an idiot, you might be capturing attention and someone says, oh, great, that's that company, and it can actually be a bad thing. So that being said, that aside, little disclaimer, magnets are great, I think, for a few reasons. One is there's no reason not to have one, really, because your vehicle is going to be seen when it's parked. It's going to be seen when you're driving. Marty's like, shameless plug. But no, so I think that any form of advertising you do is good, especially print media. A lot of people ignore it. And so I do think it's good, but you want to be really careful with what you put on there. Keep it simple. Don't go too heavy on the graphics, so on and so forth. Yeah, when it comes to magnets, I personally don't have any magnets on my truck, but that's mostly because a lot of my local market, I'm not looking for when I do leave the house, because I don't leave often. I drive like an idiot. so I don't have it on mine. However, our work vehicles, we do. And so the magnets are great. We also have wrap as well, but a partial wrap. The magnets, though, are great fillers because we can change them out. Really cost effective, so we can put on different ones, different times of the year, so on and so forth. But another great thing about magnets is if you do see, one of your clients that, has a magnet on their car, you can also emphasize your monthly plans, because getting them to come in and have their vehicle cleaned regularly, once a week kind of thing, make sure that that magnet's going to stay on the vehicle and not fly off. Because if any little bit of debris or anything gets under there, the minute you hit a certain speed, it's gone. But yeah, 100%, I'm pro magnet. Absolutely. Magnets are cheap, and they what do you got to say, Marty?
Oh, dude, I'm just letting you roll, man. Just let it roll.
Yeah, so I'm definitely pro magnet. I like advertising that's interchangeable. That's why I like things with like LCD screens, because you can change the messages. A lot of people get signage in their shop and they just plaster it on the wall.
Okay, now you're going too far. I'll cut you
Okay,
off.
okay.
Now
Well,
you're too far. We're only talking magnets here. And here's the question I asked her, which came
All
to
right.
then, and I want to ask it back.
All right.
How many customers do you want when they see your car, they just think to call? Is that really the train of thought for the customer that you want? Is that the customer that you want?
Okay.
If somebody sees your car and sees, let's call it detailing or house cleaning, whatever, and they just go, oh, I need to call them. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't think
you
you're going to
really
get that.
want that person? Or
Yeah.
do you want the customer that you just told me on the journey that you get most of your people that call you from a referral, or let's just go out in the other aspects of social, or hey, or website, or something like that, versus if somebody first of all, let's just go the rarity. Let's just start there. Let's be real. The rarity that, let's ask the question to the listeners. Have you ever called somebody off of a magnet on their car? Because that was my illustration to her. I saw the magnet and went, winery. Cool.
Yeah.
I did not go look up the website. I did not go call the phone number. I just went, okay, winery. That's a winery magnet. We just came from a winery.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I never have seen or heard anybody that has called off of a magnet on a car. So first of all, you got to think of, do I want to attract those type of people? So then if I haven't heard of somebody and if they go, well, it works, then what type of people are they? And there's so many that always talk about the bad customers they have.
And then they're going to go
Back
attract
to the
more of the same.
conversation you and I previously
Yeah.
put out. If you got a lot of flies,
You're going to
what are
attract.
you?
Yeah.
You're marketing a pile of shit.
Shit. Yeah.
So,
However, I will say though that it depends on where you use it. So just like how I said, don't put it on your vehicle if you're going to drive like an idiot. If you're a mobile detailer, for example, and you're going to do some work at a place, oh, thank you, and you're going to do some work at a place, I think that
wouldn't they sign
your
one of those
car.
little V signs be a better thing to put at the end of the, by the car that says detailing by such and such, right? Like that just looks better. It's
True.
much more professional. I still,
the A-frame signs, yeah.
Yeah, something like that is just going to stand out to be a much more professional. Now, here was the part that I could cave. I could cave on this part. You got that part. I'll cave on this part. A rear glass perforated vinyl.
Yeah. Allows light to pass through, and then
Simple,
you can still see out.
keep it clean. Don't go crazy with the colors. And you would want to say something once again from that. We talked about maybe it's a QR code you can put on there because somebody could QR from the back of their car, right?
100%.
You could do, but you got to get a reason, not just your name, what you do, and a phone number. That's not a reason for me to look at your back perforated glass and pull up that QR code. So the magic button is still in. What could I give them? So for her, it was something like, hey, when you get home, is your house going to be dirty?
Yeah.
So scan here, right? Or something like that. Hey, did you forget to do, such and such, scan here, right? Something like that I could go with.
Yeah, 100%. And that's where I think the messaging is 100% crucial, is that number one, a lot of people try and cram in too much into their ads. Yeah. And you got to just be really simple, but it also, as you mentioned, it has to be purpose driven. So there's got to be a very specific kind of goal that someone's going to go through, right? And so that's where QR codes are amazing, and maybe you could think of something clever to say that's to the passenger in the vehicle, so that, if someone's driving and it's a couple, and then, the wife's looking out and she sees the thing, it's maybe a funny message towards a wife or something, like stick your husband's coffee cups in the car or something like that. It could be anything. And then, scan here, we fix gross or something like that, so I think that's where the messaging.
Imagine driving in a clean car, scan here.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's where, and so I think that it has a place for sure. I think using the glass is good too, but at times too, like even the A-frame signs are great, but if you have a vehicle that's on premises, because you're doing mobile, for example, I think it is a good idea to have something on the vehicle at that time, just even for the overall image, that it's branded. So a car shows up, it's not just some random vehicle, something like that,
Well, so the other would be a trailer. If you invested in a trailer, you should 100% invest in graphics on the trailer.
100%.
That's a no-brainer too, right?
It's real estate that you own.
Yeah.
Put something on it, right? Absolutely, yeah. And so that's where, yeah. But I do agree with you though. Put it this way: if someone's looking at their marketing budget, and if they're not doing certain key things, I would focus on those before a magnet. So a magnet would almost be last on the list. But like if you're not doing social media ads, if you're not doing Google ads, stuff like that, put your marketing dollars towards those kinds of things, because you're going to get a lot better return, I would say, for every dollar spent. But considering all those other aspects of it are really helpful, especially if you have a trailer, like you said, definitely branding the trailer. Like why wouldn't you brand the trailer? It just makes sense. It's something you do once. You've already got the trailer. It's going to be parked somewhere. It's just free advertising. It's sitting there. You got to think those billboards on the side of the road. People literally pay thousands of dollars every month just for that presence, in hopes that as you're passing by, you're going to want to buy insurance at some point. You know what I mean? So if you've got signage that's mobile and it's out there and it's in the, like, definitely put some signs on it. Shit, there's even companies paying to put a magnet on your car. Like there's, I don't know how well they're doing, or I don't know if they're still around, but they definitely were.
It's only in Canada.
Only in Canada.
They're not, they don't do stupid shit like that here.
Don't do stupid. I wouldn't say that, man. I saw some people selling their body parts where it's like, you could tattoo my forehead.
Well, yeah, it's much better than selling a magnet for somebody else's car. Like, come on.
That's what you need to do, is just get your company logo on someone's forehead. That's the
makes a lot more sense, man.
Yeah. A lot more, nothing wrong with that. Yeah. So, but that's interesting though about the magnets, and it is something I think that even the A-frame signs, I feel like a lot of people miss the opportunity with that, because like posting something for the neighbor, that's what I think would be key there. You know what I mean? Like,
The people walking their dog, the people cruising by, right? Like,
exactly, yeah, and that's where like definitely have like we don't do much mobile, just windshields right now. But if I was, and for us with mobile windshields, we do have something up that we put out and it says, like we fix windshields. It's not super effective because it's a very use case specific thing. Like someone cracked their windshield, now they need a fix. It's not something someone's like, oh, in case 4 years from now, if I break my windshield, let me write down this number so that I can call them. But if I was doing mobile detailing, 1000%, and I wouldn't even just have one A-frame sign. I would put one on one side of the driveway and one on the other side of the driveway. 100%.
all right. So you want to do this? Just kind of kidding. You want to do like a fun little challenge? I think it'd be fun.
All right, I'm down.
Yeah. Let's do inside the OrbisX group. Let's do a challenge. Post the photo or post the challenge or whatever, and do who can come up with the best line to put on that A-frame.
I like it. Okay.
Let's come up like that. Like everybody start throwing out ideas, what they think would be the best line to get somebody's attention that would make them stop. I'm going to go with mine. I'm going to go with imagine your car looking like theirs.
I like it. All right.
Call here, scan here.
Call here. Yeah. I like it. I'm trying to think what for me, I always go like a little too in the Greg direction where I'm like, I'm like, your neighbor's a dirty girl. You should I'm like, let me think. I don't know. Yeah, it's yeah, I like those ones, but for me, it's always contests. I always go back to contests because like people love the opportunity to win some free shit.
So that's what you would put on the A-frame?
I would put something about a contest. Yeah, absolutely. I'd be like, enter to win a clean car like your neighbors, you know what I mean? Or something like that. And then, cause I always love contests. People love contests. And then you get all their information, their name, email, phone number, the year, make, model of their vehicle. Just makes the sale so much easier. I would probably do something like that, tie it into OrbisX with a QR code. Boom, Bob's your uncle. But yeah, I would definitely try and think of some clever marketing though. And like I remember this one ad we ran. Oh my God. Who was took a picture of a tank, and we said now offering military discounts, we do super tank cleaning. No joke, that post had 14,000 visits within 24 hours. That's not even a joke. Comments galore, most of them like, I can't believe a company would post this and this and that, all kind of random shit. I didn't care because there's no such thing as bad press, you know what I mean? And 14,000 visits, people were sharing it all. We were so slammed. That was in the early days. I put it in my book too. That was in the early days of the thing. But yeah, it was, I would probably think of something like that could not go like viral. Cause to me, 14,000 hits isn't viral. That's not like, but it's a good boost. Let's put it that way. But yeah, and in 24 hours too, like anything that gets people talking. That's why like Greg was good at what he did. Well, to be honest, you know what I mean? Like he was always good at stirring the pot there. That's and I noticed that Joey's doing it now too in the detailing for money there. He's been a while at it, but he'll post some shit like I don't know, like detailers should stop using vacuums. Prove me wrong. Like post some stupid crazy shit.
Greg 2.0.
Yeah, Greg 2.0, exactly. Yeah. I wonder maybe Greg is taking over Joey's account. There might be something here. I don't know. Needs investigating. But yeah, so I would think of something like that. So I'll post it in the group and we'll see what I'm curious to see what people, but there should be something attached to this, maybe. Bottle of Uno?
Well, you would have to ship that from Canada. That's not fun.
Yeah, well, I get if it's someone in Canada, sure. Yeah. And if not, then we'll I
was gonna say a shirt. You're throwing out coatings, but okay, Shawn's a big baller over here, throwing out coatings. Like you get a coating and you
should send like a Ferrari or something. Oh, actually, oh my God, speaking of cars, Jesus. I gotta say something. At a Ford convertible 2023, last couple days. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I feel like my exoskeleton's all messed up now. You know those like the magic shows where they put the girl in the box and then they cut her in half? I feel like I was put in the box. Because you've got a truck too, I think, right? Like you're higher up. You got yeah. Same with me, and I haven't been in a coupe in a while. And anyway, I my truck was in the shop getting suspension fixed and stuff, air suspension, typical Range Rover stuff. It spends more time there than my garage. But yeah, so it's getting fixed up. So I took a rental so I could drive the kids to school, stuff like that. And my kids complained so much about how low it was to the ground, having to get in and being all cramped and stuff. I'm telling you, man, that was
You're like,
terrible.
first world problem. Shut up and sit down. God damn it.
Maybe so, but Jesus. But I tell you, so many people, especially in my neighborhood, because it's like a really quiet, like older community, they were looking at me, and the whole time I'm driving, I'm like, fuck, man. They're probably thinking, oh, this new guy is going through a midlife crisis or some shit. I've never been like so embarrassed, and it was a rental, so the windows aren't tinted, and I'm driving around this thing.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, it was brutal. Yeah, okay, first world problems, sure. This is fair, but yeah. but yeah, so it was
I can't believe
an
you drove it.
experience.
That's just, I can't
Yeah.
believe it.
Yeah, but I drove
I'd have
past some
taken it
people.
back.
I swear to God, some people were looking at it and they were like in awe. They were like it was their dream car or something. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, oh my God, man, I feel so bad for you. Like you have no idea. Like, this can't possibly be your dream car. It was brutal. But yeah, anyway, it was I got my truck back now though. Miss Piggy's back. Call her Miss Piggy because she's thirsty. But yeah, she's a thirsty girl.
Mhm. Big girls need
But-
love too.
Yeah, this those thicky dicks, as Theo Vaughn would say. But you listen to Theo?
Speaking of tips, you know.
Speaking of tips, yeah, see, I made it this far. See, and I don't even think I gave I gave a partial one, maybe, but you know.
Why did
I think I did
talking
pretty
about
good.
the big girl make me think of a tip? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's about all you can get in there, right?
Yeah, it's just Jesus. Fair enough. So yeah, so all right, so we talked about the magnets and stuff. So that's getting the word out there. And there is something I did want to talk about today, which is networking. In terms of getting the word out there. We've talked about on past episodes with networking and events and so on and so forth, getting out there. But I spoke to some people recently and they went to some events, which was good, and I asked them how the turnout was, things like that. And they said, oh, it's great. There were these two guys I talked to, and they were telling me all about these two guys and these two guys the whole time. And I said, well, did you talk to anybody else? Stop your noise, Marty. I see. What kind of event was this? But they were talking about these two guys they were talking to, and they didn't have anything else to say about anyone else, and it didn't seem like they drummed up any business. And I said, okay, so you went to a networking event, but what did you really get accomplished business wise? I was hoping to hear, you talked to 20, 30 people, you got a Rolodex of people to call on. And what it was, they said, well, I felt comfortable. I was having a good conversation with these people, and so I kept the conversation going. And so my tip for today is, if you go to networking events, the goal should be to network and not socialize. And so a lot of people, they go and they just socialize. They want to talk about, certain topics that interest them with someone that they found that's like-minded, so on and so forth. But the goal, you're at the networking event, and so the goal is to meet people and open up opportunities. So ultimately, that's what you want to do, is open up those opportunities. And so if you're spending your whole night talking to one or two people or something, you're really not making the most that you can out of that networking event. And my recommendation is going to be to step into that uncomfort zone, go meet some new people, open up those doors, and understand that if you're around people that are also at a networking event, their goal is to do the same thing. They want to network, they want to meet new people, they want to get referrals. And so don't be afraid to ask for those referrals. Because I asked him that question. I said, so how many referrals did you get? I said, what do you mean, how many referrals did I get? He says, time will tell. I said, sorta. I said, did you ask for any? He said, no. I said, okay, well, that's problem one, because you got to ask. And I don't go to many networking events every year, but when I do, I make sure that they're fruitful. I ask for referrals. I always ask. And anytime I meet someone, could be at a gas station, anything like that, it doesn't matter. One of the first questions I say is, do you know anyone that I could help? After I've told them what I do, I say, who do you know I could help? Get that information if you can. Oh, I could help your buddy Jason. No problem. Could you text him my info right now? Don't be afraid to push. When people are put in that situation, they're going to want to help you in some way, shape, or form, and they'll do it. And if they don't, then at least you know, okay, I'm wasting my time with this person. Move on to the next thing. You can still be friendly and everything, but just keep it moving. So my tip would be network, don't socialize. Socializing is good, but you got to network. You got to open up those doors, open up those opportunities.
All right. So my tip would be socialize and stop going to networkers.
I love it.
No, I hated those things. I used to go to them too. And to me, some people, oh yeah, well, I got such and such off. Okay, cool. You do you. For me, I didn't get a thing out of them. Never have.
Now you're talking about like networking events, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. I'm the same, but for me, any networking event is anytime I'm out in public where there's, several people. It could be a party, it could be even at the battle axe.
Gotcha. So let's define that. Let's define that, break that down a little bit more, because that's something you and I kind of talked a little bit before off air. Because inside of the winery where I went, what they're going to start doing is that inward networking with the other wineries that are around. They'll sell some other people's wine until they have enough grapes and they can bottle on their own. They'll start doing things that I kind of was like, wow, okay, that's an interesting world. Like, y'all network really well. Whereas, I was talking to my brother-in-law and he's in construction and remodeling and new construction. And, those guys do everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's going, man, I hate people. I don't want to be around people. I don't want to deal with them. Like,
I find that similar in the detailing world as well, though. Yeah, very much so.
Ching, 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 ching.
We see it all the time where it's like, even we were talking before the episode where, some people, they're like, oh, so-and-so opened up down the road for me, or they want to do this, they're like, fuck that guy, and it's like, there could be an opportunity here if you work together, find a way to work together, and that's what we've done at Auto World is we found ways to work with other local guys that are either doing something exactly like what we're doing or doing something that's just beneficial to what we're doing and we benefit them and so on and so forth. Those relationships, because it's like a free employee almost, like if I can add another person in my network that can refer us business, stuff like that. He's like a free sales guy and we're just sending him business for things that we don't even do, but we can send his way because they do it. Like we don't do dent repair and we had the opportunity to. We just don't want to get into that. So we send them to this other guy and he sends us detailing clients. Perfect. So that's but yeah, anyway, sorry. Before I end up in another tip here. Yeah, I don't want to DP the thicky, but sometimes you gotta but oh boy. so yeah, the winery though, that's interesting because I've noticed different industries, they network differently. They approach competition or someone that could be competing a little differently. I find I've seen that in different industries, like even real estate, can be cutthroat, but the guy I was with, Spencer, ex-military, but now he's in realty, and so basically he does residential primarily. He's breaking into commercial and he's kind of under the wing of someone else that does commercial now, and they're tag teaming deals. And at first I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, man, that's crazy because he's going to have to now just split commission by bringing you in on this thing. And he said, yeah, but he doesn't have time. So he's like, for him to be able to close more deals, he brings in people like me to help. He trains me, I finish it up. And then eventually, he's going to spread his wings and go out on his own. But for the time being, he's basically not working for this guy, but he's working with him on his deals, helping him close more. So that guy's making more commission. And that's someone that, in my opinion, really gets it. They understand that you only have so much time in a day and you got to delegate some stuff. And what a better way than through networking, through people that already understand the industry. It's less training that you have to give them versus if you hired some guy that, has no experience in your industry. Right. So
after Shawn does 4 tips, let me go ahead and piggyback his original tip with my
buckle up. Yeah.
Cause I most all of us would say, which is what my wife had said was, right, we get all of our referrals, so to speak, is how we grow our business. And usually that is word of mouth, right? That's and it really is the golden apple, right? It is the most cherished form of marketing, word of mouth. And the word of mouth, the best way to do is to get what you're saying is a referral. A tip for people on how to get a referral is most people are, well, they're keen to, well, let me just say that, Shawn, you mind? I've got just a small little favor to ask you. Do you mind?
No problem. I have no idea
Okay.
what it is, but no problem.
Right.
Of course.
That's the question.
Ah,
Most people are most inclined to answer that question positively after they've been showing an expression of gratitude. Most
mm,
people show the expression of gratitude with the two words, thank you.
mm,
So anytime that you have done something for somebody and they use those two magic words, thank you, it is an
mm.
open invitation for you to say, oh, well, can you just do me this one small little favor?
Yeah, because they've opened that door now. Ah,
And
yeah,
that
yeah.
small little favor, you could go with that, hey, if anybody else that you could benefit from, right? But that's sort of the entryway to break into. And then you could go out that way. Or another way would be to go, if you could think of one person that might also benefit from a service that I did, I'm not going to ask you for their information. I just want to know if there's somebody that you can think of. Oh, yeah, Susie. When's the next time you're going to see Susie, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, I'm going to see her next Tuesday. Great. Hey, next Tuesday, would you do me a small favor and just ask her about
Yeah.
if she could,
That's
you
good though. It's a
benefited from
subtle way
me.
of planting that seed.
And
Yeah.
then you call back the next Tuesday and go, you haven't had a chance to talk to Susie, but then
Yeah.
they'll either have said, yeah, and she's going to call you on such and such, or right, like it. Then you got that warm lead into, okay, well, what's Susie's number? I'll give her a call. Hey, Susie, Marilyn told me to give you a call. Oh, yeah, I've heard about you. Marilyn was telling me all about you. Right.
Yeah.
Like then there's
It's
another
true.
way to roll
And now you've got that
into.
endorsement that
Yep.
exactly
Mm-hmm.
100%. And those are the easiest sales. That's actually one of the ways how we got 1,000 plus 5-star reviews is we wait for them, like, are you happy with all your service? Usually they'll say, yes, I am. Thank you. The minute they say that, we're like, and we really appreciate it. Listen, the best way that you could let us know how happy you were, and we really appreciate it, is if you could let us know by a Google review. And then we say, at the end of it, that's how we let our guys know that you've said thank you. Is at the end of the month, we tally them all up, we give them a little bonus, get them some lunch. They're really happy. Honest to God, most of them pull out their phones right then and there. Boom, leave us a review. Some of them, they're like, I'm driving, I gotta go pick up my kids. As soon as I get home, I'm doing it. And literally between like 5 p.m. and 7 p.m., I'm just replying to reviews most time, because that's when people go and it's usually after we've closed, people pick up their cars. The minute they say something like that, we're like, the best way you could thank us is with a Google review. It's really important to us, help support a small business. We tell them all that. And but yeah, that's interesting. That's a really good way to lead into those referrals though. Absolutely. Because word of mouth is truly the best way. That's even how OrbisX grew, is just word of mouth, people saying how great it is, stuff like that. I've never paid for advertising, and unlike the other guys, I haven't paid for, like top placements and sponsorships and groups and all kinds of, dick licking. But basically that's how it's worked with OrbisX is the same kind of thing. It's just people, referring it and recommending it. Easiest sales in the world, because then someone's already convinced, because they have that relationship with that other person. Like Susie, as you mentioned, she's going to have a relationship with this person that's going to recommend them. And then when you jump in, they're already kind of sold on the idea of working with you, before. So definitely chase those referrals. Absolutely. And don't be afraid to ask for them. That's the other part of that, because I know it can be intimidating at times, but OrbisX will help, because you can automate that process as well. So after your jobs, when you mark them complete, OrbisX can reach out to your customers and ask for referrals as well. So if you don't have that turned on, I highly recommend you go after this podcast and turn that on, because that's how we get a lot of our referrals through that process as well.
All right, so everybody go into where you're going to post the A-frame thing, and let's do that challenge. Yeah,
and we're gonna give away something. We're gonna give
away something.
Yeah, I'll give that some thought. Maybe you'll get a nice T-shirt like this. They're super comfortable though. Oh my God, I'm telling you.
Something
After this,
from OrbisX, something from hyperClean. I don't know. Well, maybe we can figure it out. If you want to double up and double the hyperClean, hey, I ain't gonna shy away, but
yeah. You know what? You know what we should do? Maybe we should give away an A-frame sign with a ceramic coating.
Ooh.
Oh. See? I know a guy who can print it. Just saying. Or you know what? If everyone comments, I'm gonna send Marty's wife 2 car magnets. that's what we're gonna do. Absolutely. But awesome. Listen, Marty, thanks. Always a pleasure. I'll figure out the details of that. I'll post the contest in the group, and we'll take it from there. I'll see you next week. Appreciate everything. And yeah, we'll touch base soon, man. All right.
See ya.
Cheers. Yeah.